This is the beginning of a series of short and simple stories about an imaginary future in around the year 2200. A future where almost everything is automated in order to free humans from repetitive and boring work. Most of the human needs are met for free, without the need to pay for those. You could live a full happy life without paying a cent in your lifetime. In some of the upcoming episodes we dive deeper into how that and all of this new future we're talking about came to be. But simply, in the years 10,000 BC to 2000 the trajectory was quite clear on what was going to happen in the next few centuries when considering the exponential spread of inventions, technology and automation from the dawn of first muscle-powered tools to the tiniest electric microprocessors. So just by extrapolating from there, you get this kind of future. And so, when the full-on spread of automation was inevitable, there started to be an abundance. And when things are in complete abundance, they become free, like the air you breathe. It just makes sense to offer the most important necessities of life for free, like the books in a library. It was simply inevitable. Money is mostly used for the kind of luxuries that are not necessary for a good life, they just enhance it a little bit more. Like having a nicer apartment or like fixing and driving a gasoline-powered museum-licensed 1970 Mustang in the age of electric transportation. And the money is some sort of cryptocurrency or similar, but that's for another episode altogether. In this future, there is no income inequality anymore. At least nowhere near the extent it used to be. People in general are more geared towards something that some may call communism, but what is something else entirely? Automation wasn't that a big thing in communist countries back then. That was one of the key differences. Second thing was the rapid rise of freedom of information that happened in the years 2000 to 2100. The transition from capitalism into this new way of life was surprisingly smooth. It just happened alongside. Like the birth of open source movement. Speaking of which, open source model was also a gigantic thing that spread alongside automation. Companies can actually survive through donations and various kind of services while offering their main products for free. Just like how for example the companies behind Wikipedia or the 3D modeling software Blender were surviving and even thriving in the year 2020. Forward to the year 2200, besides the automation, some manual work still existed, though, not absolutely everything could be automated fully. Like monitoring the machines, for example. But the amount of volunteers was so high that the weekly working hours plummeted to just 10 or so. And the pay was higher in professions that made the society function better, unlike back in the days when it was set by the whims of the market. This was possible mainly because of monthly donations. Vast amounts of people knew that every little bit counts and understood their responsibility for the society. Systems that supported them were high on the list of where to donate. It was common to donate 1/3 of one's income to useful and useless purposes. Work or volunteer work wasn't anymore a burden, it was fulfilling and meaningful and most importantly, variant. Something different every time. People were used to changing the workplace very frequently. And to check into the free apartments next to it. That was so that the work stayed inspiring and fresh and challenging, whether you trained to become a medical assistant or a helper for a veterinarian. Alongside you could study to become a physicist or a doctor, for example. Or work for a more stable profession, like a filmmaker. The number of people that felt happy about their lives was at all-time high. That reduced vandalism quite a bit also. All in all, life was quite enjoyable in 2200.